You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hey everyone, welcome to the BQN Hive Mind Presents Hit It. This is our exclusive live panel where we boldly go into the latest episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And it is a space where we will have some BQN hosts and some of our Patreon collective come together to deep dive into just everything that is going on in this amazing new season. Just so people watching live and anyone watching on the catch-up knows, the BQN Hive Mind is a regular roundtable that we offer to members of our Patreon collective over at patreon.com/BQN. We usually meet monthly to catch up on all things Trek. However, when there is Trek on TV like there is right now, we gather the Hive Mind to do these YouTube recaps. And if you are interested in being on the panel in a later episode, you can sign up to be a patron over at patreon.com/BQN and get the invite to actually be part of the show. Otherwise, if you are watching live on YouTube, please interact with us in the chat. You can also get this as a catch-up podcast and YouTube episode as well. It's me, Davey, and I'm joined by a really fabulous panel today. We've got Jim, we've got Matt, and the BQN's own Amy. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
So exciting to see you all. And because we're already 4 episodes in, we got a lot to cover today. But how's everyone going? Amy, how are things? You were just saying that people are already converging on Vegas for STLV.
They are, and it's so exciting because now I get to play tourists and do all the fun things that my city has to offer. So it's been really good.
That's so exciting, and I'm so jealous. It's been far too long. And Matt, what about you? Are you heading to STLV?
Yes, I am. I leave Tuesday evening and get in on the late side. So, Amy, I guess I will see you the next day.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to it.
Exactly.
And Jim, what about yourself?
I am sadly not going to STLV this year.
Oh,
Not
no.
this year. Oh,
So
that's all right.
I'm gonna miss not seeing you in person, Amy.
I know. I'm going to miss not seeing you in your Enterprise cosplay.
So thank you.
Iconic. Well, we are
Yeah.
here today. We are here today to unpack the first 4 episodes of Strange New Worlds Season 3. We would normally be doing this weekly, but I've been very, very sick with a big bout of influenza A. So I've been pretty out of it. So apologies for not getting us together sooner. But I guess let's just start with, how are we feeling? We're 4 episodes in. It's been a while between drinks. I'm seeing anyone who's been chatting to me in spoiler chat on the BQN Discord knows I have mixed emotions. But Amy, I'll start with you. How are you feeling 4 episodes in?
Well, I said it on Union Federation. I don't like the fact that they went 2 episodes on the first week. I'm still not happy about that because that whiplash. I mean, I love Strange New Worlds as episodic. And do not get me wrong, but coming off of hegemony, Christoph, I blame him because he talked about this on All Good Things last week. And now he's cursed me with not being able to say it. So, yeah, going from that episode to Wedding Bell Blues. And then, but we had a week to get our head wrapped around the Under the Cloak of War Part 2 episode. Like, that was like deep, fun, chaotic, sporadic, a Spock romp. And then back to heavy and now back to light. It's pretty awesome. So it's just a lot of whiplash, and I'm glad we have now a week to,
Process.
yes, reset.
I, I'm just laughing at Christos's pronunciation of hegemony on All Good Things because I was literally listening to that this morning whilst I was walking the dog. I'm walking down the street. I'm going, no, Christos, no. That's not how. I can't even remember how he said it. It was like hegemony or
Right?
something like
Hegemony.
hegemony. I mean, look, who knows? Maybe he's right and we're all wrong, but that's too funny. Matt, how are you feeling 4 episodes in?
I think I definitely have to agree with Amy. It's a little all over the place tonally. Not all of the episodes have really worked for me. I'm liking more of them than I'm not. I would say probably the only one that didn't really catch me, and I'm sure we'll get to this a little bit later, is Kinfori. But no, I'm enjoying the season. I really am. I'm excited to see where else it goes.
Yeah. Well, we'd always rather have Star Trek than not have Star Trek, I guess.
Of course.
Yes. And Jim, I know you've had a lot going on. You've been moving house, but have you had time to consume it all? How are you feeling?
Oh, yes, I have had time to see every episode, and I kind of agree. This going from heavy to light to heavy to light, like, it's a good idea in theory, just not always best practically. Like, each episode on its own has been, for the most part, great, but
Mhm.
it's definitely a roller coaster.
It is a bit of a roller coaster, yeah. And I think, the argument I hear over and over again is that, well, we've only got 10 episodes and they need to be good.
No, they don't. Do they not remember what it was like in the 90s?
Yeah. Yeah, but if you were watching 26 episodes over 26 weeks and one was a bit off, you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe next week I'll be fine. Because I'm sitting here thinking, we're 4 episodes in, and I don't know if I've really loved an episode yet, and it's making me nervous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was saying to Jim, though, Amy, before we went live, before you joined the Zoom, because I was so sick, I feel like I got a little grumpy and negative on everything, because like I was stuck in bed for over a week. And I think it was around about the time I watched Shuttle to Kenfori. That was when I went on the spoiler thread on Discord and just
Yeah.
ranted. And I'm like, and then I went back and read it again, and I'm like, oh my God, what have I, who am I?
Yeah. Then you're like, okay, let me reset. Let me say some positive things. This is what I did like,
It
I
turns
just
into the "Get off
reset.
my lawn, you crazy kids" kind of a
Yeah, I was like, I'm being such a new Trek kind of hater, which I've always been so against. But yeah, anyway, I'll put it down to being sick.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the episodes. Let's talk about hegemony. Now I can't. Oh my
Gemini?
God, hegemony.
Hegemony?
Hegemony Part 2. Picking up from last season's cliffhanger, Pike goes rogue to rescue colonists trapped deep in Gorn territory. Not deep, I wouldn't say deep in Gorn territory. Secrets are revealed, sacrifices are made, and tensions rise as the Federation faces a new enemy in the Gorn. So, as a, Strange New Worlds, Best of Both Worlds, Part 2.
Yes. Sleep.
Yeah.
Put them to sleep.
Yeah.
He's exhausted. Yes, doctor.
Oh my God, it's totally that, isn't it?
Right?
It really
What can you even
is.
say about that episode? They were definitely getting gorny.
Lol.
I had to do a Gorn pun.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of step through the episode. So, we've come right off the back of Hegemony Part 1, but it's been 2 years, and that's the kind of the weird thing. And so even though it picks up like seconds later, like we've moved
Yeah.
on with our lives. So like
Yes.
let's talk about that. How did the extended break kill the momentum of the show a little bit? Has it been hard to pick that momentum back up again?
I'd say it's a mixed bag on there. Like it definitely killed some of the momentum, but it also kept us tantalized along for like 2 years as well.
Yeah, yeah, we've been waiting. We've been waiting.
Excuse me. So I was very hungry for it to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. I definitely missed it. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, I even watched Hegemony Part 1 back in May, but even that was too long because I was like, I don't remember this. Well, I had a busy summer, to be fair, but that really did kill the momentum. And like you said, like we have moved on with our lives, and I almost wish that they would just finish the story so that when we come back, everyone has aged, you know. Let's
Mm,
just, you know,
yeah,
because
and
going from Hegemony Part 2 to Wedding Bell Blues to see them completely changed, you know, after a
yeah,
2-year break from their wigs from, oh, I have to be this old person and now this total brand new.
yeah. I mean, because we
Speaking of
can.
the wig, Burroughs was the worst in that episode. Like you could tell she was freaking wearing a wig to hide the hair.
Yeah.
I think everyone was looking for it though, right? Like we're all very aware in this day and age how much time has passed. And yeah, I think that's the one thing, it's been a couple of weeks now. I've listened to a lot of the podcast discussions. The one thing everyone agrees on is that from the word go, people were taken out of it by Uhura's wig because she'd grown her hair so much. And just the back of her head, it almost looked like she was wearing a prosthetic that made her an
It
alien.
almost looked like she was wearing a swim cap with hair, kind of.
Agreed. Yeah, that wig was. This has not been a great season for hair so far, and
Or wigs
Yeah.
in general.
We'll
Una's.
get there
My
later, too.
gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Una in episode
Una's.
2 or 3. What were they thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also kind of meta because there's also been a lot of jokes about Pike's hair products too. Well, there was
Yeah.
a joke about Pike's hair
Oh
products.
God,
I love that,
couldn't
by
stop
the way.
laughing at that. At that
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I like that they sort of embrace the fact that his coif is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So let's go into story, right? So we've gotten, we- and forgive me because I haven't rewatched it since it first came out. Pike is kind of ordered not to go in and do the rescue, but is kind of gently told that he can, right? Like he doesn't
Yeah.
really defy orders. Like is that kind of what happened here? Like April's kind of like, officially you're not supposed to do this, but go and do it.
Which I think sort of makes sense for that day of the beginning of the Federation, right?
Mhm.
Kirk's was the cowboy, you know, so he was that cowboy diplomacy. And I think that has just been where we were. So it sort of fits in my headcanon in the timeline of it.
Yeah, it wasn't that unbelievable for me, I think, because there was compelling evidence in terms of the real threat that the Gorn were going to pose, right? Like they were going to expand and that they were going to invade, but, that couldn't really be proven, but it was obvious it was going to happen anyway. And April's just sort of like, well, this could get held up in kind of like politics and all that kind of stuff. So just go and do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is an interesting order on April's behalf, right? Because he really, like, unofficially sends Pike in the Enterprise. Like, he puts the whole weight of the Federation and Starfleet on their shoulders. What do you think,
Yeah.
Matt?
And if he's doing it off,
that he is.
Sorry, you go, Amy.
if
Sorry.
he's doing it off the books, he's not going to be, there's not going to be any backup, like at all. So
Yeah.
that is a huge ask.
Huge. And Jim, what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was saying I think that ship truly showed what kind of a capable commander Robert April is. That he's able to savvily navigate a situation like that while still making it look like he's towing the political line.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, Matt?
I liked that scene when they were kind of debating, figuring out the loophole, how we could get the job done. And I especially appreciated Pike, pushing back and standing up to him.
Mhm.
Of course he's fighting for his crew, most of, and all the colonists as well. But no, I think it worked.
Yeah, it's I guess it's very high stakes.
Yeah.
It was nice in terms of coming back from the cliffhanger as well. It goes, this has got a bit of the stakes are still there, and this requires a bit of resolution still. So you're going to have to work through that. What about let's switch to the crew who are all trapped on board, like the Gorn. What do you call it? Is it a breeding ship, a mothership? What do we actually call that?
Yeah.
In the
Breeding ship, that was good.
digestion chamber.
The digestion,
Yeah.
they were being
Yeah.
digested, weren't they? But they just suddenly fell out of the digestion sacks. And forgive me again because it's been a couple of weeks since I watched it. Did something go wrong, and that's why they all fell out of the digestion sacks?
No, I think what happened was La'an managed to force her way
Woke
up,
up.
Oh, she woke
Taser.
up. Yeah.
and then she woke up the others. There was just really bad editing to make this to speed up the time lapse there though in that episode.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, it was very kind of like there was some convenient moments in it, I think, which is fine. You get that you've got 50 minutes to tell your story, as Armin Shimmerman always says on the Delta Flyers. You gotta you gotta keep things moving. But I remember just sort of thinking, like, after it happened, I was just like, wait, hang on. Did she just conveniently wake up and manage to escape? This is very like James Bond-esque, just leaving them all alone, waiting for them to escape. And because they were in there there was the Enterprise crew in there, but also all the colonists were there as well, right? I think the colonists were kind of like referenced a lot throughout this, but not really seen. We're just like, yeah, they're all there being digested as well, but we've hidden them somewhere safe. They'll be fine.
One thing about the colonists, though, I found it interesting that they made a very concerted effort to always talk about the colonists, that it wasn't like Pike is like, yeah, it's not just my crew, it's the colonists. Like, we're not doing this just for my crew. We are trying to, save and protect. And La'an did the same thing. We're not just going to save us. We're going to save everyone, all the colonists. And I just found that interesting and like why I think that's just putting more emphasis on the greater good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And there was a very sort of like, weight of the world on the shoulders kind of thing going on. But I think that was kind of handled pretty nicely. Like, I mean, overall, I think this was a nice like reintroduction back into the show.
Yeah.
What about what other stuff did we have going on in this? I guess we had the Spock and Chapel kind of. I can't remember because I know that. I mean, obviously they dealt a lot with Spock and Chapel's relationship fallout in Wedding Bell Blues. Was any of that tension present in this episode?
Man, it's been a while since
I know it's
I watched.
Well,
I
before
think
we
they
go
kinda
there,
skipped
though,
over it.
we have to talk about Ortegas's hand.
Yes.
That was so jarring and so well done.
Yes, that's actually really true. And that's a big setup for what seems to be finally an Ortegas character arc that's occurring this season because she lost 2 fingers and then
Yeah.
and then she gets impaled by a Gorn at one point as well, and then has to navigate that little fighter ship while she is bleeding out all over the console.
Don't get me started. So stupid. You have Dr. Mbenga right there, and he's not gonna stop the bleeding? That threw me out of it. It did. I'm sorry.
Amy, I think we should get you started. I think we should definitely get you started. I heard you talking about that on All Good Things, and I hadn't actually thought of it like that. And then I went back to it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's really annoying. He's just like, there, you can do it.
I mean, at least, grab a scrap of fabric and apply pressure. Like, do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some
Any-
triage.
Yeah. Any other Star Trek doctor would have one, like, Crusher, Bashir, Phlox, whoever. They all would have just like, cool, all right, give me a bit of this, wrap it around, apply pressure. Like, let's do everything we can to keep her alive. This was just like, you're on your own.
Yeah. Colbert, man, he'd be right there, holding her,
Oh, and he would be
room.
counseling her at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, you can do this.
You can fly the ship.
Exactly.
yeah. And it feels like they're switching a bit of La'an Gorn trauma for a bit of Ortegas Gorn trauma here.
Yeah. Which is like, we've seen this. Like, can we get a unique story for Ortegas? Oh.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I want better for an Ortegas arc. Like, why do we have to traumatize such a wonderful character to get an arc out of her? It's I don't know if I'm bored with it. I mean, I'm liking the way Melissa Navia has handled it so far.
Yeah.
And I've got some other thoughts on when we get to the episodes where they really dive into that in terms of how she is treated in regards to it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they take this as a serious arc for the character. It could be done well if handled well, but we'll see. I've just remembered.
Do you think her? Since we're talking about it, do you think that her vision is like? How deep do you think it is? Like, or do you think it's actual because she was impaled? I think I asked this on All Good Things. Do you think that there's like some Gorn DNA still in her that's causing the hallucinations, or is it all mental?
I hadn't thought about that until I heard you say it on All Good Things, and I'm like, oh. I mean, that could be it, but it's also I don't want that to be it because I kind of want the Gorn thing to be over, to be honest. What do you think, Matt?
No, I agree with that. That the Gorn need to we need to move on and move past that storyline. I mean, we only have 10 episodes. Let's not dwell on this any longer than we have to. Yeah. And I am a bit nervous for the resolution of the Battelle situation. Is that how we get to the TOS style Gorn?
Yeah. Yes. That's Kelvin first raised that theory with me. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it makes sense. It does make sense. It's a wonderful retcon. Jim, what do you think?
It's got shades of what Matt was saying. It has kind of shades of Enterprise. Let's explain how there are flat-headed Klingons.
It does have that a little bit. It does have that. You've reminded me though what was like the Spock and Chapel like drama and tension. It was the fact that they were having to operate on Battelle the whole time whilst also dealing with all these feelings for each other, which I think, I don't know, I've got thoughts on how that whole, because it was A, B, C, and D stories going on through this whole episode. I would fit this somewhere between a B and a C story, but it felt a little, I don't know, the writing of it felt a little bit off. The way they kind of kept chopping between solutions to the problem, only to just have an epiphany right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that drove me nuts, and I hate this. This isn't a Star Trek thing. It happens in a lot of stuff. They're in the middle of the crisis. This woman is about to have Gorn burst out of her back. And she's like, I don't want any grand romantic gestures, Spock. None of that, please. And they start having that TNM.
Well, and they did the same thing in Discovery
every episode.
Yes.
on the Breen ship. You know, that
Oh,
that was time and place, people. Like park
yeah.
it. Focus on the mission.
It's I find it jarring. It happens a lot in TV and movies, but it's been happening a lot in Star Trek lately, and it's been driving me a little bit bonkers. Amy, what are your thoughts on how the whole sort of Spock Chapel Battelle surgery thing was handled?
I, you know, I think it's a great and fun twist on how to, help her. And I'm glad finally that I'm liking Battelle now. So I want it to be successful. I want to see them work at it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm okay with
I
it.
would not put money on that.
Yeah.
What you want the sorry, which one did you want to work out? Spock and Chapel or Battelle and Pike? Sorry.
Battelle and Pike.
Battelle and Pike. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Christos say on All Good Things though? He's like, oh, it's all working too well, which is never a good sign.
Yeah. Right.
Mike just can't catch a break. I mean, just poor man.
Well, I mean, we kind of know that he's set up for tragedy regardless. That's kind of
like give the man a win before
yeah.
Hait.
Jim, are you a Battelle Pike shipper?
I am, but we all know how that's gonna end.
Yeah.
Do we though?
Do we?
Is Pike single?
Well, I mean, when he shows up in the menagerie, I mean, Battelle's not there, spoon feeding him his porridge. Like, it's like.
But do we know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went with the assumption I've just gone with the assumption that Battelle will survive and come the time period of the menagerie. She's like that bitch.
I know, yeah. He went back to that Vina who he's always been obsessed, that ex-girlfriend that he could never shut. He spent 5 minutes with on some alien planet. Because that's the fantasy that the Telosians choose to take him back to. He gets to live his happily ever after in a fantasy. So it's hard to say where that's going to end up, but it's probably not going to be good. Because I mean, Battelle's kind of been treated. The Gorn is, jumping forward to shuttle Kenfori a little bit. I kind of feel like it's almost being treated like she's got a terminal illness, like a cancer or something like that, right? Like, we get it down to a manageable level, but you got to keep watching it because the warning signs or the danger signs can keep reemerging. So it's almost like, is she ever going to be truly out of the woods because it's such uncharted territory?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, it's scary for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do think that we're headed towards the Gorn, the TOS version of the Gorn, mainly because it's called a chimera flower. That by definition means, a combination of the DNA or, whatever, the creatures. And she's not going to be her normal self. She'll have to be changed, right, just based on the name of the flower itself.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to park that a bit until we get to Shuttle to Kenfori because there's a lot to it, certainly unpacking in that. Let's round off Hegemony Part 2. Let's go for everyone and go. What was almost a bit of All Good Things, assimilation and regenerations. What rounding it off? What did you really, really like, and what did you really dislike, Amy?
Oh gosh, it's been so long. I can't hardly even remember. Oh, I liked the creative solution with the chimera flower, and
wrong episode.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There were still creative solutions with the way they.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I loved that they were, best of both worlds, putting him to sleep. That was beautiful. I really did like that.
It was a nice throwback.
Nice nod. Yeah.
Because they did try to sort of create that very best of both worlds, network television season cliffhanger kind of vibes of how they took it out. And what really frustrated you? You've touched on a couple of them, but what's the main thing that you would totally if you could change one thing about the whole episode, Amy? What would it be?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Maybe I'll think of it as you guys talk. Matt,
Go back.
save me.
I would say what I really liked was the Ortega's hand scene and the impalement. I mean, that level of tension and drama and fear. I know some of the other pods that I've listened to, there was that real concern was she going to make it? I mean, it seemed like she was really, really, really injured, as we've already talked about. So I really enjoyed that, but I am completely over all of the Spock romance. Can we do something else, please?
Yeah.
Get to more of that later on in the other episodes as well. But can't he just do some science? Please.
Yeah. I'd like to see, moving more towards, the Spock that we meet in the original series. I totally, in the early sort of episodes of Strange New Worlds, was on board with an exploration of a younger Spock who has yet to reconcile his human side with his Vulcan side, especially when it comes to his emotions and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like I'm with you. With the short time we've got with these characters, it's dragging on a little bit now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's getting a bit much. Like,
And what is the purging of the emotions called? It's not Ponfark, that's when they're horny.
Colinar.
The Colinar, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had that yet, right?
No, well, he doesn't go through that until the motion picture.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Right. Got it. Okay. I wish he would go through it during this series, just so we can
just get to the Spock that we know and love.
Yes.
And for someone who feels deeply, he has gotten over to Pring pretty quick and now gotten over Chapel pretty quick. Like, I thought this was deep feeling emotion, Vulcans, we feel deeply. That's why we have to suppress.
Yeah.
Love that.
Jim,
It's just one right after another, and it's too much for Spock. Too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, final thoughts on Hegemony Part 2?
I'll bring up the Pring again later. I have some other thoughts on that in another episode.
Oh, poor to Pring.
Yeah, but I'd say my favorite moment, and I'm blanking now, but I can tell you my least favorite moment, when Sam said, I hope as long as we don't alert the Gorn, I just went like, oh, Sam, you fucking idiot. Because, of course, that was right when the alarm goes off.
Right. Yeah, that was funny.
And I'm blanking on what my favorite moment was. I'm sure it'll come to me later.
Yeah. I'll just say that I thought it was a really exciting, action-packed hour of Star Trek with lots of really cool character moments, great special effects, really well paced, some interesting dialogue and decisions, and just dealing with some certain annoying character arcs that just need to be dealt with.
Saying dialogue, you just made me remember what my favorite moment was, Davey.
Oh, go on.
When it was when Pikes. It was when they gave the nod, kind of like Enterprise did when they sealed the Borg the Borg storyline. When Pike says, "I feel like we just handed off this problem to another crew at a later time."
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Was good.
That was very good. That was good. And I think ultimately it just felt like it was nice to have them back.
Yep.
I think I liked a lot more than I disliked about the return of the show. But let's give Amy a bit of whiplash now and talk about episode 2, which released right alongside this very action-packed season premiere. Wedding Bell Blues. Romance was in the air. So this was, Spock and Chapel's unresolved tension sort of took center stage here. We got the return of a particular character, which was in Trelane. I'm assuming that that's who he was supposed to be, and
Well, that's what Memory Alpha claimed he is. So
yeah. So we had that. We had all kinds of hijinks. Now, it's actually very typical Star Trek to have the big epic 2-part cliffhanger premiere and then move into something a little bit lighter, like Family after Best of Both
Yeah.
Worlds.
that's what I was
That's
thinking.
not a light episode, though.
I agree. They did.
True.
That was
Yeah, actually, now that it's lighter in a different way. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah. It's very like all the sci-fi kind of elements of Family kind of disappear just to focus on characters and trauma and all this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah. So it's a character versus the typical. Yeah. But
this was just humor and hijinks. Yeah.
yes, it was. Yeah.
Amy, do you think would you have felt less whiplash if this came out a week later?
Yes. 100%. Yeah. That's all it needed. It just needed space for hegemony to breathe. That's all it needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder why they felt compelled to release
I
to it
know.
anyway.
Right?
Because I mean, we know the season will be done, I think, before the end of September.
Yeah.
And not coming until 26. So I don't know.
Yeah. Was it just hey, we haven't done. We've made you wait for so long. So
Yeah.
here's one episode per year that we were off air.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys, I need to scoot. This was so wonderful.
All good.
Enjoy.
We'll continue the chat without you. All good.
All right.
Thanks for joining.
All right.
I
Yeah. No, this episode, Davey, I have some thoughts on. It's like I love the episode, but you're gonna do a wedding episode for Spock, and you're not going to include T'Pring or any member of his family in the episode.
Yeah. I wonder if the fact that this was all a Trelane/Q kind of induced fantasy kind of accounts for that at all. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah. I think you can use that just from the Q hijinks of it all.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So
Yeah, I suppose you're right, but that's still like just irritated me that they didn't even think about that, or they missed a great plot opportunity. Like introduce us to members of the Chapel family or something, anything.
yeah. And I was on board with introducing Roger Corby because we all know about that they do wind up married, don't they? Corby and Chapel, because when
I think they wind up engaged and not married.
engaged, yeah, because I can't remember is it Dagger of the Mind that Corby's in, and it's a case of like, oh yeah, this is my former fiance or my former husband or something along those lines. I can't remember
That episode in years, I don't recall.
Yeah, well, we know they obviously have a very in-depth relationship, so I was totally on board with, hey, let's put a bow on what's been a pretty important character arc for, one of the most iconic characters that we have on this show. Let's see Spock finally resolve and deal with these feelings of breakup and heartbreak in a very Vulcan way. And, I felt like the awkwardness when Corby arrives and he's got the gift and he does the grand romantic gesture, even though she told him not to. So I was kind of all on board with that, and I'll admit as well, when I went and watched it for a second time, I think I enjoyed it a lot more because I was in such a different headspace. Because you all know we all watched Hegemony Part 2 and then watched this straight away because we had New Trek and we were not gonna,
Yeah.
we weren't gonna let it lie. So let's go with the introduction of Corby. So what do we think of that, Matt? Like, the introduction of Corby, Spock's reactions to it. Is this something you liked, disliked? Take me through it.
I think I definitely liked it. I appreciated Spock calling Chapel out and saying, I thought you said you were going to be single. I mean, he was well within his rights to mention that. And I thought that was handled very, very well, very realistically. yeah. But I do like Corby himself as a character, and I hope we get to see more of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Chapel's response to that, I loved equally as well when she was like, "When I know that answer, I'll let you know, Spock."
Yeah. The evolution of Chapel and Corby's relationship reminds me of like a holiday romance a little bit, because it's like, oh, well, this escalated pretty quickly and got pretty deep. But I know personally, I've from my single days, I've done some like long overseas trips and met people and fallen in lust very, very quickly. And because you're in that kind of state where you've got lots of amazing things going on and you're in a different location, and she talks about going up the mountain and it's all beautiful and all that kind of stuff. That can accelerate like, love and relationships. So I found that all quite believable. And even though like I can see like Spock being jarred by it and the audience being jarred by it as well, I still like, no, this is totally plausible that she's gone and had this amazing romance in what was an incredibly life-changing experience for her to even get this fellowship in the first place, right?
I thought it was difficult where when they were telling the story of how they met, how mentioning her mother's birthday or maybe the anniversary of her death, I forget whichever it was, and how she never told Spock that, and that I think that helped seal it even more and make it more believable and painful. It was tough to watch a little bit.
And we're very
The
much
most-
dealing, yeah, because we're very much dealing with a situation where she's done with Spock. Like, there's no, like, and it's
For
not,
now, anyway, she's done with it.
Well,
yeah,
is she? I
I don't
mean,
know. I feel like
is-
she is.
more than not, but I don't think she's completely done, or at least she feels a great deal of empathy knowing that she's hurting him with this.
She does, but like she's doing, I mean, I've seen this in real relationships, both my own and with friends before as well, where they've split up because it's not going to work. It doesn't mean that they don't not love each other or care for each other, but they know that the relationship won't work and it'll become toxic and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that 100% she's got empathy. She doesn't want to hurt Spock, but she's also sort of trying to coach him through the fact that, like, hey, like you need to let this go. I don't want any grand romantic gestures and all that kind of thing. And you can see, she looks at him when Corby's there, and that she hates it, but at the same time, she almost kind of knows, well, maybe he kind of has to go through this a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like an ex where you kind of stay friends and all that kind of stuff, and you're moving on and they're not? Or have you ever been in the opposite of that situation? I know I have. And so I kind of felt
I was in the opposite, and
yeah.
ultimately needed to just kind of cut ties and completely not even associate at all.
Yeah.
Even avoid, just to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in that same situation where it's like not necessarily next for me, but someone I was in love with who moved on with someone else, and like, oh, you just gotta feel for Spock in that situation. You really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so, I think that this whole part of it, in fact, the breakup kind of part of it has been some of the most like relatable and real parts of this relationship and character arc for me anyway, because yeah, you've got that different side of it as well with Spock being Spock. And as Amy said, so deep and emotional, but really not knowing how to express that and struggling between suppressing it and showing it and feeling it and not
Right.
feeling it. But clearly those feelings are so strong that even Vulcan logic can't suppress it. So it's the more I unpack it, the more I'm like, actually, no, this has actually been done really well, and it's hard to watch on a number of different angles.
Oh yeah, like that scene in the lounge where they're all there, where they're all there, and you can see just the awkwardness of
Yeah.
everyone in the
Mhm.
room. It's like it is a very well acted scene, and you can definitely see the pain on Spock's face throughout it.
Yeah, and I think I've been I've been both Spock and Chapel in that situation. And I know, like, because everyone feels bad about it, but they're also like, they're not in it like he is, right? So their lives are just kind of going on merrily, and it's, oof, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Well, but they all knew, though, except the ensign.
Yeah, true. Yes, that's right. Because the ensign's like asking all these questions.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was when everyone in the scene was like, Is there somewhere else I could be?" Like, I think Sam Kurtz summed it up best. He, like, wanted to run the hell out the door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which then leads us into meeting our Trelane. So Rhys Darby of Flight of the Conchords, New Zealand man who, I'll
Yes, perfect performance.
semi-claim him as ANZ, Australia, New Zealand. So, we'll claim him if he's doing good stuff. But he's not Australian by any stretch of the imagination. He's very much a Kiwi. But we meet him.
Yes, perfect performance, I would say, but by that actor.
Chewed. Yeah, go, Matt.
No, I thought he was really great. I mean, just the flamboyance of it all, nailing that, for Trelane, it just all really worked.
Yeah. Chewed the scenery, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like just he stole every scene he was in. Like there was nothing any of the other actors could do to kind of like compete with his performance.
Like at that ending when you start to realize he's a kid, Rhys Darby does the perfect teenage petulance with his voice in that scene. It's like it like brings you back to when any of us were teens and we're like, "Not now, Dad."
I didn't really love that part at the end. I mean, I don't know. It felt a bit overdone to me. If they could have dialed that back just a little bit, the petulance at the end. If he had been a younger looking character, I think it would have fit better.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. So herein lies one of the problems of the episode for me is I mentioned before that I felt like some of the other cast weren't really quite matching to his performance. And I felt some of the pacing felt really awkward in this episode for me. Like I feel like some of the comedic timing or reactions to Rhys Darby's Trelane wasn't matching it in a way that made me feel it very kind of like believable and real. And I felt like that, for me anyway, that felt like some of the humor was kind of falling a little bit flat because I wasn't getting the same humor from the rest of the cast in the way they were reacting. What do you think, Matt?
Because they were all in the fantasy until they were snapped out of it.
Yeah.
And it was just so forced. Like, I didn't really like, the waking up in bed together scene where Spock, I mean, I know he was kind of under the spell, but to go from that jarring, being hurt in the previous scene and, all that tortuousness. And then, oh, hey there, beautiful, just waking up in bed. It just felt, didn't really help for me. Yeah.
What'd you think about the waking up in bed scene with Corby?
Oh, that was fine.
Yeah.
I like.
But I think some of the scenes with Trelane were quite lengthy as well. So there's that whole scene where they're doing the wedding rehearsal, which went on for quite a while. But like the gags were, and whether you could call them gags or not, I'm not too sure. But like the humorous moments were kind of stretched out a little bit. I felt like if you wanted that to kind of be funnier, I felt like it kind of needed to sort of come a little bit thicker and faster in terms of comedic timing, but because otherwise it just felt, I don't know, it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good, and Rhys Darby was good, but I felt like some of it was falling flat, like the way he was kind of sidelining Corby and all that kind of stuff didn't really kind of land for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? You're welcome to say
No,
I'm
I agree
wrong.
with that perspective.
Yeah.
It came close, but
Mm.
no, it just didn't gel. The one positive of the lengthy wedding rehearsal scene and of the wedding itself is we got to see all the gorgeous costumes. The
Yeah.
costuming
Oh my
so
god.
amazing. I mean, everybody looked great.
Mm. And
Like
the
Scott
set was really good.
woman
And
in that wedding dress, top notch.
yeah. Yeah, they did some amazing work with the set design in this episode, especially where they had the wedding ceremony. The AR wall was doing beautiful backgrounds. I loved the look of all of the other Starfleet ships all orbiting the
Mhm.
space station. I loved that you could see a Crossfield class ship out there, which I have thoughts about as well, because I really only thought that just the Discovery and the Glenn were that level of Crossfield ship, but I'm neither
Or
here
maybe it
nor
was the
there on
Glen, we
that.
don't know.
The Glenn got destroyed. But anyway, I'm neither here nor there on that. But like it was all very beautiful. It was done pretty well. What other stuff have we kind of got from this episode as well? So,
Oh, we have to talk about the odd couple, Spock and Corby.
yeah. So I think there was a bit of pain in that, and a bit of irony in that he had to team up with Corby to actually resolve the situation. What about though? I mean, that and a bit of irony. It was why was Corby not part of the fantasy? Why was he not successfully brainwashed and then able to confront Spock to unbrainwash him?
I think that kind of goes towards like Trelane or Q Jr., whatever we want to think of him as, like his, for lack of a better way of saying it, his immaturity.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, it could be that. Like, he doesn't have as much of a grasp over controlling everyone as perhaps a senior Q member would. What do you think, Matt?
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't he under the spell to begin with, and then he snapped out of it, or no? He was never under it.
No, he was never under the spell.
It seemed like he was never under it, yeah.
He
Okay.
was included in the illusion, but his mind was
Yes.
never under control of Trelane.
Well, we know it was intense emotion that would snap people out of it. So, okay, given that, what was it? Well, it was probably the fact that, he was very much in love with Christine, and seeing Christine with Spock in the fantasy is probably why it didn't stick.
Yeah, I could buy that. Yeah. It was so jarring for him because Spock was getting what he wanted. So obviously he was much easier to bring into it. But then when confronted with that real harsh reality, that was when what did he like punched Corby in the face or something, didn't he? Like,
Yes.
He did, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he must have held back because a proper Vulcan punch could have probably put a hole in that man's skull. So.
No kidding. Yeah, and like that kind of hope goes in line with like how Spock managed to not check Christine loose from the grasp of Trelane as well. Like he went for a different kind of intense emotion where he like, I think pretty much wasn't it he repeated the story we saw in the lounge scene, but he then added that like there's no way I could have known about any of that or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And that's what knocked Chapel loose.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, especially because he knocks Chapel loose during the vows, doesn't he?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a great monologue. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, very sweet, very touching. Very good performances from Jess Bush and Ethan Peck there as well. I thought during that.
And now that you mention it, or going back to what we said earlier, that probably did put a bit of a bow on tying up the loose ends of their relationship, because it was so heartfelt. He was just letting it all out to hopefully let it go.
Yeah. It was
And he had
quite
been learning,
cathartic.
and he had been learning to dance with on.
Of course, yeah. That started here, didn't it? Yeah.
Christina Chong must have been in heaven in this episode, being able to just be herself and dance.
Right.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
amazing, isn't she? Like that's all her, isn't it?
Yeah, she's
So good.
Yeah, and we haven't even covered, like, we actually did get a teeny little bit of Ortega's backstory with, like, we finally met her brother, and then of course he has the whole possible romance with Uhura that drives her nuts.
Yeah, which we haven't heard about since.
No.
We haven't heard about that since, have we?
And maybe that's a misdirect. Although Uhura said she was going to put a word in with the CNC for the Federation documentary, and that episode had, everything is shot for a reason. Everything has a purpose, ultimately. Like the Rangovian introducing himself to Mbenga, and then we find out in Ori what that was about.
Yeah, it could possibly be it. That could possibly be it. Strange New Worlds is pretty good at picking up on these threads in later episodes. So I have a feeling we probably haven't seen the last of Ortegas's brother. I liked the flirting scene though. I thought that was cute. It was quite natural. You know, two young people who were clearly flirting, and I love that Ortegas just goes, "No flirting, no flirting."
Yeah.
I don't. No. There'll be none of this. I loved it. I thought that was very, very funny. All very natural. All very well performed by the three actors in that scene.
And Pegasus' character, is she Colombian?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I'm
when they were
not sure.
speaking the lines about tequila. Yeah, and then Ortega speaks 37 languages or whatever it was. I liked all of that. When they were walking down the corridor.
Yeah, it was cool. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of that dynamic.
Reception briefly too.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. So let's
And
touch
we have to talk about the reception too. I mean, like Hait in that with that monologue after he's finally after everyone's finally been knocked loose, and he like is struggling to figure out what to say until finally he comes up with like, "And the bar's open, folks."
Yeah, jitterbug.
That was great, and I'm glad that Wham is gone 400 years in the future.
Oh, do you know what? I can buy people still loving George Michael.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. When that happened, I was like, "Yes, George Michael is canon."
Yeah. And we had our John Delancey vocal cameo at the end, which was I will always love more John Delancey. And so was it just a cameo for John Delancey? Because surely it wasn't meant to be Q, because Q doesn't have a kid until, or the Q that we know, because Q doesn't have a kid until much, much later, and talks about how there hasn't been a child born in the continuum for a while.
Yeah, well, as John Delancey said in Picard, humans think too linearly.
Yeah, I had that thought as well. How do we feel about I saw Ryan say in our spoiler thread on Discord that it doesn't thinks that they play a little too loose with canon in Strange New Worlds. How do we think this all works sort of canonically? Because Trelane doesn't introduce himself as Trelane. They don't know who he is, where he came from, or where he goes. He just kind of floats off, and they're like, "Ah, like this is a new one, isn't it?" Like, so how do we think that? How are we feeling about all of this canonically, Matt?
I think it worked. I did have to go back and watch the original Trelane episode, or maybe I watched it after, just to refresh the memory. I really didn't like the original TOS episode ended. And in other pods have called Wedding Bell, the end of Wedding Bell Blues as like a copy paste of that ending. But I liked it better in Wedding Bell Blues than TOS. Yeah. And I think it's fine. You don't have to be sticklers for canon all the time. It was great to have Delancey back, like you said.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
Oh, I'm just going with the theory that was the Q we all know and love, and leaving it at that.
Yeah, Jim's just like, it was Q, and that's that. That's it. That's And then I guess the final thing, which kind of came out of nowhere for me, was the Ortegas Gorn hallucination PTSD kind of moment. So we kind of, it was a little jarring because I was like, oh wait, hang on, why? Because she hadn't sort of shown any signs of this throughout the entire episode because it had all been very lighthearted for her with the brother and the flirting with Uhura.
Actually, she kind of did, like with being earlier in the episode when she had the fight scene with her brother. She did seem a little intense.
Yeah, I was, even as I was saying, I was thinking maybe that was possibly where it was hinted at.
I mean, yeah, the scene ends with her knocking her brother out with the right hook out of nowhere. That was meant for humor, but still, the rest of the scene was intense.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of I found a little bit jarring about it, apart from I felt like it came out of nowhere, was I was like, I thought we were kind of wrapping up the Gorn thing here and getting ready to move on with other stuff. Because as we know, moving into the next episode, there's still more threads of the Gorn storyline happening.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, and that kind of like annoyed me as well. I also didn't like the fact this was a pretty much lighthearted episode right up until the closing scene.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We talked about it before. She lost a whole bunch of fingers and was impaled and had to navigate an unfamiliar ship while she was bleeding out all over it. Like, the recovery from that, like, and this is something modern Trek tends to focus on a little bit. And yeah, even Strange New Worlds always said, even though they were going to do more episodic storylines, that things that happen to characters will have weight and will have impact that will carry over.
Right.
So I guess in that, it does kind of make sense.
It does, although I wish we would have gotten like some very personal moments between Ortegas and M'Benga. I mean, she got the fingers back. You'd think she'd have to go through some type of physical therapy, with the new fingers, and maybe in that scenario, she could have started to unpack the mental health impact of what happened. I mean, yes, she passed the psych eval, as we found out, but clearly, there was a lot more going on.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Wedding Bell Blues, Jim?
No, I've pretty much said everything I want to say about Wedding Bell Blues.
Matt, all right, so.
Yeah. The only thing I'll comment on, which seemed a bit ridiculous, was the hideous blue tuxedo that Corby was put in.
Oh, God.
And turning him into the dog. I'm like, okay, that's a bit much. Everybody else looks amazing, and he looks just completely out of place and like a fool.
I wonder if that wasn't intentional on Verlaine's part.
Yeah, it was intentional, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, I take that back. The whole scene where he turns in. I take that back. I do have something to say. The whole scene where he turns into a dog, kind of ridiculous as well, if you ask me.
Oh, but a bit of a throwback to Q turning Dr. Crusher into a dog, wasn't it?
Oh, right. I'd forgotten about that. And I did love Sam
that.
holding me.
Dear. All right. Yeah. So we've just covered off 2 episodes. We've got 2 more to go. Thank you. We've had Jez, we've had Peter, we've had Sean in the chat. We are going to take a quick 4-minute break. So you're about to see a quick promo of everything else you can see on the BQN. We're going to take a little break to fill up our water bottles and go to the bathroom, and we'll come back soon to talk about Shuttle to Kenfori and a space adventure hour.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the T-Bab? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube, as well as a podcast, our Trexperts quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the Final Frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Zilagis. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. And Transformational Journeys. Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Hey, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that little interlude there and maybe picked up on another BQN podcast you might want to add to your queue, of which there are many. I'm back here with Matt and Jim. We are going through the first 4 episodes of Strange New Worlds Season 3 as part of the BQN Hive Mind Presents Hit It. Whew. How are we going, guys? How are we going? This is a bit of a marathon effort, but I'm enjoying the chance to finally unpack these. As I said at the beginning, I've been sick, so I haven't really been able to have like a good proper chat, even with my own friends here in Melbourne, who I would normally meet up and have viewing parties and stuff with. So, how are we finding?
I always enjoy talking Star Trek.
Yeah. So let's move on to episode 3, Shuttle to Ken 4E. And I put up a bit of a competition in the BQN Discord that no one responded to. I wanted some good Star Trek Last of Us puns, because that was very much
Right.
That's I didn't get any though.
That.
Because that's very much what I thought this was. But so this is our episode where we've got Pike and M'Beggar heading to a abandoned remote research station plagued by Well, we'll call them what they are, and they make this joke, zombie Klingons, and in the hunt for the Chimera flower, which is apparently Batel's only hope of survival, as the Gorn DNA has started to resurface within her body. We've got massive breaches of protocol here with entering into an area which is forbidden by treaty, but the Klingons are there as well, so I guess that kind of cancels that out. A lot of quick decision making as well around the fact that they're going to break the rules and potentially risk interstellar war to save one person. And then we've also got a lot of the tension with the B story going on the side, which is Ortegas's insubordination and the changes in her behavior, subtle or otherwise. So I've seen a lot of divided thoughts and opinions on Shuttle to Kenfori. So, Matt, I'll start with you. Where do you sit on this episode?
I liked all of the different individual, like the different threads, the A, the B, and wasn't there a C plot as well?
Oh, there was, because it was a follow-on from the season 2 episode where Mbenga kills the Klingon guy.
Oh, yes. I loved the follow-on to Cloak of War. I thought that worked extremely well. The Ortegas insubordination was amazingly well done. Really enjoyed that, except for Una's wig. I know we'll get there, but but the zombies just didn't do it for me. Something just didn't land.
I agree. I kind of felt like, oh, come on, Star Trek, don't do zombies. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. Everything else was great except for that.
Yeah. What did you? Where do you sit with this one, Jim?
I thought this was the weakest episode of the season so far. Like the whole zombies thing, I agree with Matt, did not land for me. I thought Enterprise did a much better zombie episode with the zombie Vulcans. And I won't even get started on Una's wig.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag for me as well. Like I really sort of liked I liked I liked the way they were dealing with Ortegas, and the way that she started slowly showing signs that she was clearly not okay. She attacks Uhura, who's a really good friend. She undermines Una, all that kind of stuff. I was not here for the zombies either. I didn't really appreciate that. I didn't like the quickness in which they decided, all right, we're just going to completely risk like an interstellar incident to save one person. But then again, I can kind of understand that in the sense that, Pike obviously loves her and will do anything to save her.
And it's not like certain captains haven't done it before.
Yeah.
I mean, Spock stole the Enterprise. You know, so, okay.
And someone called me out on this in the BQN Discord and said, well, we've clearly established this as a crew that plays loose and fast with the rules. Like, Pike he hasn't really kind of been set up as the upstanding hero as some of the other captains. He's not the Picard that gets everything right all the time, or the action hero that is Kirk, or the brilliant scientist that is Janeway. He's actually very flawed, and he buckles under pressure a little bit. And
I agree. Like, and the hegemony for a moment, part 2, where he was kind of paralyzed there on the bridge. During that scene where it was like the stony silence and like, orders, Captain, orders. Like, I agree. He does have moments where he buckles.
Yeah. And I think and maybe that is even kind of what maybe leads to his downfall. Who knows? But he certainly has a lot more flaws than a lot of other Star Trek captains that we've seen. The one thing that really, really, really pissed me off in this. Like, I was actually furious about this after I finished watching it. I was so angry at the treatment of Ortegas for her insubordination, given the fact that like Pike just took the whole ship into an interstellar no-go zone and risked the treaty, risked a war, and Benga had killed someone and had been and admitted to murder and had been forgiven for it and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, "You've been a little bit snappy and talking back, young lady. You go to your room." Like, it was kind of that was how I perceived it. I know it's good that she has broken the rules and there are consequences for that. But then I feel like other people were breaking the rules on a much larger scale. I don't know. Go, Matt.
I can see why you feel that way.
Yeah.
But Ortegas, she purposefully wanted the ship to be discovered.
Yeah.
That put an entire crew of 200 plus at risk.
That's true.
So, and she is more of a junior officer. So, but the other points you made are completely valid as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, more than one person made a decision that put lots of people at risk here, and one person had consequences for it.
Sure, because Mbenga killing, what's his name? That could have created another Klingon war. I mean, the ambassador. So
yeah. And at the end, like, Pike's like, "Oh, it's okay. You're still a good man," and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, didn't Pike basically rationalize it as you just said anything to get to help get out of the situation, kind of?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's maybe why this episode is such a mixed bag for so many people. Is there's a little, it's just a lot of tonally and character wise and all that kind of stuff. It's very kind of inconsistent. Because I could totally buy Ortegas being reprimanded and punished for what she did, because it's bad, right? Like, and I found her performances very believable and natural again as, someone who was angry and dealing with PTSD and taking risks and all that kind of stuff as people do when they're in that situation. Again, I just felt like, I was like, oh, okay, so that has consequences and repercussions, but the other stuff doesn't. But I mean, I guess maybe Mbenga got his repercussions and consequences by the fact that a Klingon came to hunt him down and to regain her honor.
Which I thought that was completely believable, extremely well done.
Yeah,
I enjoyed how that tied up.
Yeah, and I mean, I always like having good. We had good, proper, traditional Klingons, and she was speaking proper Klingonese and all that kind of stuff. I loved all that. Yeah.
Speaking of the Klingons, like, that's one of the things I kind of had a problem with in this episode. I had no problem with the behavior or the storyline for the Klingons, but the outfits. Did they have to use the K-pop costumes from the musical episode? Their wardrobe?
They're the K-pop costumes. Yeah.
They were, weren't they?
I seriously expected when, like, the three of them enter the compound, like, with weapons drawn, looking all mean and everything. I seriously expected them to drop their weapons and break into a song and dance routine.
Why you only calling us when you get your drama? Well, let's touch on the horror vibe. I think we've kind of already answered this question, but why did the horror vibe feel so out of place? Why didn't we, Matt? What didn't work about that for you?
It's a good question. Maybe just because it was so analogous to Last of Us.
Yeah.
It didn't fit with Trek for me.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. Yeah.
What about you, Jim?
I agree with what Matt said there. I also think with, like, when Enterprise did it, they did it more towards, like, the theme of, I want to say, 28 Days Later or something like that than the Last of Us, which at the time, and if you watch the episode back now, does work. But in this episode, there is a serious disconnect between between what the zombies between what the zombies were meant to be and what they actually were.
Yeah, yeah. I think I kind of get that. I think for me, it was just kind of like, okay, cool. That's kind of been done.
Yeah, I mean, the Enterprise episode where they do the zombies with Vulcans is like one of the best episodes of that series, and to try and do it again wasn't necessary.
Yeah. Have you all caught or been informed on the joke or the reference in the title of the episode?
No, I'm not even aware of this.
No.
So, Shuttle to Ken Forey. Ken Forey was the name of the main character in George A. Romero's original Dawn of the Dead, in the one set in the shopping mall. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years. Interesting. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I never seen any of the Dawn of the Dead films, so I wouldn't have even picked up on that.
Yeah, someone in the BQN Discord told me that, and I went and looked it up, and yep, Ken Forey was the character's name. Yeah, I thought that was quite a clever little nod. So, what else did we have in this episode? Do we need to talk more about Una's wig, or have we processed that trauma? Like,
All
why?
I want to say on that is, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah. Wig aside, I really like how Una stepped up and was the commander.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I really hope that this is setting her up, by the end of season 5 to get her own command.
Yeah,
she was excellent in how she handled the Ortega situation and the bridge full of women, which was great. It was great to see. And yeah, I just want to see Una continue to develop, grow, and succeed.
Yeah.
Yes, this was definitely a great episode for showing Una's command style compared to, say, Pike's command style.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, and I totally back her decision to reprimand Ortegas, right? Like, even though I complain about like the writing of it, like the way she dealt with the conversation, the performance between the two actors when all of that was happening, and yet you get the sense that Ortegas doesn't really accept it. It was even the accepting of the reprimand was done in a very adversarial kind of way, yep, whatever.
Oh, yeah, like when Ortegas walked out of the briefing room and she's like, sleeping.
Yeah. Like there was the way she walked out of the room too. Like she wasn't really saying much, but her body language and everything was palpable. Like
you could tell she disagreed with everything that went on.
Yeah.
She knew she couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But Una saying this cannot happen again, that line was drawn very clearly.
Yeah.
And know that Ortegas is going to walk right up to that line in a future episode.
That made me think. Yes, sorry, that made me think like, you had to say that because it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously with the other major thing is what's going to happen with Battelle, right? So we had Pike being not lied to, but certainly keeping things from him about this weird kind of, what would you call it? The way they're kind of planning, they're not trying to get rid of the Gorn DNA. They're almost trying to feed it and turn her into some kind of hybrid, but it means she'll survive, but they don't really know what's going to happen.
Right. All I know is I thought after the previous episode, oh, great, we solved the Gorn situation, Battelle will go off. We might see her every couple episodes on a screen. Perfect. Only now we're being given a double switch and we're told, oh, it's not fixed yet.
Yeah.
That kind of pissed me off, actually.
Yeah, I feel like Adventure Hour could have waited another week. Like, we needed to resolve the Battelle situation. And we're still not there.
Yeah.
I hope they don't drag the very end of the season. I really hope they don't.
Same here. I hope they don't stretch it out over the season as well. I'm afraid they will, but I hope they won't.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I kind of see where they're going with, again, I mentioned before about how the writers of Strange New Worlds said that things will carry over even though we're doing, contained episodes. I guess this is a huge unknown, right? Like, they're kind of challenging that whole, okay, this incredibly unprecedented novel thing happened to Patel in being the only person ever to be rescued by it being impregnated with gone eggs. And that doesn't just go away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is aggressive DNA that's designed to do one thing and one thing only. So I can kind of buy that it keeps coming in. I guess that, like you, Jim, I'm just sort of also thinking, geez, it'd be nice to move on to some other stories. Go, Matt.
I did really like the mind meld scene where we got to see through I guess it was Spock seeing through the Gorn's point of view. That was really cool, and I really enjoyed that, and I hope we get a little bit more of that before it wraps up, because that was really interesting.
Yeah, and I will admit that, like, even though this might sound mean, I don't mean it to be, like, the scene where Spock's in the throes of the Gorn point of view and he just shoves the ensign across the room was like a really great action sequence.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about that mind meld. That was quite traumatic, wasn't it? That was a really heavy scene to sort of watch. I think that kind of lent a lot more weight to what must actually be going on inside Patel's body. Like, it's really quite full on. So we probably haven't seen the last of that. We've got Peter and Ryan in the chat who are very much thinking that, this story's probably going to continue on for the rest of the season and will probably continue to crop up. I would like to sort of see it resolved sooner. I think one of you just said the same thing, like, oh, let's not make that the season finale kind of deal. Because it'd be interesting to see where they take this season, given that they've just found out after producing this season that, they've only got 2.5 to go. I think Ryan in the chat is also kind of alluding to the fact that they're focusing very heavily on Patel, but not so much on whether the Gorn impalement has maybe done something similar to Ortegas, and we just don't know about that yet. But I guess time will tell. Shuttle to Kenfori, final thoughts, Jim?
I've given all the thoughts I have on that. It's my least favorite of the season so far.
Fair enough. And yourself, Matt?
I would agree with Jim. Yeah, probably my least favorite, except for the Una development, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll agree on that point.
Yeah. I think there was some stuff done really, really well, like the Una Ortegas, the way that was handled, and the writing behind it, the performances behind it, all really, really good. I just think that there was just too much other stuff happening that just didn't quite land, that hurt the stuff that did work well, which is a little bit of a theme in some of these first 4 episodes, I think. So let's wrap this up with this week's episode, A Space Adventure Hour. Now, this is the one I think people have been interestingly looking forward to. We've got a Jonathan Frakes directed episode, which we always look forward to in each season of Discovery and Strange New Worlds.
And boy, did he deliver.
This was an interesting one. Yeah, we've got a little bit of playing with canon. We've got holodeck malfunctions. We've got the Strange New World takes on a big goodbye, or what's the elementary Dear Data? There's a little bit of that in this as well. And so, yeah, like this is, I'm not quite too sure where to start on this one because it's the most recent one.
I got something I want to start on.
Go, Jim.
Like, is Amelia Moon meant to be like a female Dixon Hill kind of character? I like the introduction to the character, but I'm trying to figure out if that's their attempt at recreating all the Dixon Hill storylines from TNG.
Yeah. Possibly. Peter in the chat just made a really interesting comment that there's a little bit of our man Bashir in this as well, because I mean, because that's a very similar holodeck malfunction again, playing a spy / secret agent. But yes, I got that. I think it was very much a made up kind of there was someone who the Amelia character reminded me of, but it's slipped my mind at the moment. But it very much had that kind of energy to it. Here's this story I loved as a this make believe private eye that she loved as a little girl, and they've taken all the stories and made a holodeck character, a holodeck thing out of that.
I did kind of get the creation of Moriarty as their inspiration for the storyline from that
it was
scene.
so obvious. So like something that will challenge me, right? Like something that will challenge me.
And apparently what could challenge her was Mr. Spock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I liked the fact that, that they did they introduced a holodeck in a way that had a lot of limitations, right? Like, because it had to use likenesses of the existing crew because it had to use data that it already had, like a Gen AI.
Yeah. And I liked that that's how they got Kirk in this episode. Like, he wasn't actually on the Enterprise. Like, it was just his pattern buffer from all his other times on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Right. Now, just to back up slightly, and it was Peter being in the chat that made me think of this. Hasn't it been agreed, and I believe officially said, that the novels are supposed to be canon, correct?
I think it's some novels are canon.
The Strange New Worlds novels, I mean.
The Strange New Worlds. I did not know that. Peter should know. If Trek Book Club, he's in the chat, Peter.
I'd be curious what Peter has to say on that front. And I only bring it up because I believe it was in Asylum, in that novel, Pelia sort of invents the holodeck or at least the beginnings of it, as an improvement over the Kobayashi Maru. So it felt a bit inchy with this. The way this approach to the holodeck in this episode, if the novels are indeed canon.
Peter thinks they are, but not 100% sure on that. Ryan thinks the Picard ones might be canon as well.
I also like Ryan in the chat saying that he got Agent Carter vibes from this episode.
Very much
true.
so.
Yeah. So I mean, he made a bit of an animated series joke as well, Pike, when he said, "Oh, it's the recreation room." Because you remember the animated series Recreation Room, which was that was a holodeck, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the recreation room," but we're just going to call it the holodeck. So I thought that was pretty cute. Look, it does play a little bit with it, but I'm able to let it go. You know what I mean? Like I think that they did. I think they made a solid. I'll give them an A+ for effort on trying to give us a good, fun holodeck malfunction episode, but also explain it in the context of Strange New Worlds.
One we haven't seen 100 times before, basically.
Yeah. Hey, it's like, well, we may need to keep people out in deep space for longer than 5 years, so this is something that we're testing to see if it's a way that we can give people some form of like mental health and wellness, escapism.
Right.
Yeah, and I love, like, they brought it up in the chat with that holodeck story. They made so much wonderful jokes about Rod and Barry and the franchise as a whole in this one episode.
Yeah. The holodeck malfunction itself is very much, it's all very meta. There was a lot of meta kind of elements going on, right? So we've got Space Adventure Hour is the fictional show with that all of the suspects within the Amelia's murder mystery scenario all work on, which is a show that is risking cancellation and has an eccentric kind of writer-director, and then that's our excuse to bring Kirk in and all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of very kind of meta-ness to it. Do you?
Oh, even the opening sequence was very meta, doing the theme song to Space Adventure. Oh,
Yeah.
theme song for the episode.
And and all very funny and tongue in cheek. You had what's his name, Paul Wesley, doing a very over the top kind of Kirk impersonation, but also kind of like he wasn't doing it the very traditional way. Like he used the drawn out verbs and all that and syllables and all that kind of stuff. But there was just something slightly different about it that he did so that it wasn't too on the nose.
Yeah, I think it was he did different verbs and syllables than William Shatner.
Yeah. Like he was doing a Shatner impersonation, but not doing a Shatner impersonation.
Yeah,
if
and
you know what I mean.
Paul Wesley even posted on, I think it was his Instagram, that this was the most fun he's ever had filming an episode.
Yeah. It looked like they were having fun. It absolutely looked like
it totally looked like he was having a blast.
It looked visually amazing. I really enjoyed that. I thought the line was hilarious when Chapel said, "Our brain cells, but we need those for science things." It was so silly. It was so silly. I loved it.
Very silly, very silly. But no, I agree with you. Like that was brilliant. That was brilliant. I did like, you always look at an episode like this and you're like, yeah, the cast are having a lot of fun. And I actually think that the cast actually got to show off their acting chops a little bit because
Totally.
most of them were really inhabiting these alternate holodeck characters. Like Anson Mount
as the director.
Excellent.
Oh my God.
Excellent.
It's so different.
Completely different person. Completely different person.
I loved his portrayal the most.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite part as an Australian was Jess Bush using her real accent.
Yes.
And the fact that her fictional character's name was Adelaide, which is an Australian capital city. So,
right.
Oh yeah, Adelaide Kane or something, wasn't it?
Adelaide Shore, I think. Yeah, but Adelaide is the name of the capital of the state of South Australia. So she's. I thought she.
I think Babs also got to use his real voice too, didn't he?
He was using an English accent. Yeah, But was that actually his accent? Is he really English?
Jim, who are you speaking of, Jim? I couldn't hear you.
Mbenga.
Babs.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I liked that accent. I don't know if that's his real speaking voice, though. I will try and find out at STLV.
There you go. The chat, Ryan and Peter are going off in the chat about this as well. I think we've hit a bit of a nerve with all of this. They mentioned the blooper reel.
For this episode has an extended blooper reel. Even more. It was just so good. But
yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that scene where you see the woman, the actress who plays
oh my
the
God.
alien holding the eyeballs when she tries stepping through the screen. Oh my God.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got the drama going on outside where there is, some star that's going to threaten to kill everyone, which is, again, I feel like this is it's all something we've seen before, but it was kind of like a comfort food in a way, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, I know that all of this is just a bit of a throwback to, like, there was not much that was original about it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, and it was in all the meta-ness and all that kind of stuff. But I also kind of didn't mind. Like, if that makes sense.
No, it was just so fun,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like watching Scotty try and balance everything and figure it all out. Like, what a great opportunity for Martin Shaw, whatever his name is, to stretch his acting muscle just a little.
Yeah. And I will say there was one thing, like, if I was to criticize anything, well, there's two things I'll criticize. One, there were times when I felt like each individual character in the holodeck simulation, like, they were giving amazing performances, sometimes I don't think those performances were all gelling very well together. Very similar to like my criticism of Wedding Bell Blues, where I felt like they weren't bouncing off each other as well as I would have liked them to.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
very singular.
yeah, like,
kind of.
Exactly. It's like, I think of it in terms of, so like I perform in a gay men's choir, right? Like, and we always get criticized that when sometimes we're singing and we're so focused on what we're singing, we're not listening to everyone else. And when you stop and listen to everyone else, it starts to blend a little bit. There was like Jess Bush was giving an amazing performance as Adelaide Shaw. Anson Mount was giving an amazing performance as the writer and director, but they were so focused on their individual amazing performances that they weren't gelling with the other characters. It just
similar with Rebecca Romaine, who I think was playing the writer or the producer of the show.
She was like the Lucille Ball of the scenario.
I thought she was
should have given her like a red wig instead of the blonde wig.
Yeah.
But like Chapel and Mbenga, I felt had zero chemistry.
Yeah.
As holodeck characters. But which is strange because in previous episodes as themselves, they have great chemistry.
Ah.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Like they just didn't gel in all of the cases.
I think that might be because like in previous episodes where they have the great chemistry, they're not romantically entangled with their characters are not romantically entangled with each other. In this episode, their two characters were romantically entangled with each other and it just didn't come across convincingly.
Right.
Yeah, possibly. Peter's in the chat has just given an interesting little tidbit that apparently the actress playing the alien with the eyeballs is the same actress who played the four-armed bartender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can hear it now. Like, not see it, but I can hear it. So actually, before we get on to the other big thing of this episode, there's something we have not spoken about at all about all these 4 episodes, and that is the disappearance of Pelia and the arrival of and the focus on Scotty.
I think they did address that in this episode, or at least her absence was.
They said she's on leave. They said she's on leave or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Carol Kane's salary clearly went to the costume budget for this episode.
Well, I mean, Carol Kane's was only like, she's a recurring character, but she's not a core cast member. Like, she's a guest star of sorts, I guess. But I guess maybe they're just getting us more used to having Scotty as a regular. But I mean, I miss her. I like Carol Kane. I like Pelia. I feel like she's still being criminally underused. As much as I love this new actor playing Scotty, I find him really charming.
And he's Scottish.
And he's actually Scottish. Yeah. And I totally buy his portrayal of a younger, less confident Scotty. Like, I really, really do buy that.
Oh yeah, as Ryan points out in the chat, Carol Kane is getting up there in age.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
I don't think that has to be bearing though on because this season was filmed when? It was filmed last fall?
It was filmed right after the strike.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Who knows? You never quite know what's going on with the production of these shows, right? Like, we saw it in Discovery with so many core characters coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. Like, it's
don't get me started on Detmer and Omo Discovery.
Yeah. I liked Scotty in this episode though. I loved my favorite scene was him sneaking onto the bridge to be like to Uhura, like, hypothetically, like, what if, like, I thought that was a really cute character moment between two characters who we know are going to go on to be lifelong friends and colleagues.
Yeah, my personal favorite Scotty scene in this episode was when he finally was able to get in touch with them on the holodeck by disguising himself as a character, as a holographic character, and we see him as like this background crew member in like a film reel on the holodeck of supposedly of a previous event, and then he suddenly turns around and is like, "Oh, what on?" Like, I thought that was brilliant.
I thought that was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's running around in that lab trying to just keep everything running, and they're talking about how literally the amount of computing power that's required for the holodeck is just overloading everything, and he's just trying to keep a lid on it, right? Like he doesn't, because of what he went through on the other ship, he's just like, oh, I need to just sort this and not cause a problem and not cause a drama. And
Side note, Peter put in the chat, this season was filmed from February to July of 2022.
Okay. I did find Scotty's line about the second set of eyes being detrimental a bit strange.
mm,
You know, he made that comment when Una suggested it. And I don't know, that felt odd to me. And I don't know if we got a resolution for why he felt that way.
yeah. Yeah, because Una's sort of like, you don't have to do it alone. You've got a crew, you've got a team, all that kind of stuff. There was,
Which kind of dovetails into Peter's comment. Where was the rest of the engineering staff? Scotty's all the engineering staff you need.
yeah.
Well, I mean, when we do see engineering, which I don't think we've seen Scotty in actual engineering yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Not this season.
Yeah. There really aren't ever any other engineering staff in that room.
No, the only other time I've seen background engineers, I think it was in Hegemony, and I think it was when Pelia runs in screaming, the Gorner here,
Mm.
and Scotty goes into super engineer mode. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen background engineers this season that I've noticed anyways.
Yeah. And I'm a little surprised that, I mean, yes, Carol Kane was not in this episode, but we haven't yet gotten the scene from the previews where Pelia hardwires a telephone. I would have
Mm.
thought
Oh,
that
God, yeah, I'm waiting for that.
I would have thought that would have fit in this episode.
Mm.
It's still yet to come.
And we had Ortegas back. We had a throwaway comment to her, the fact that she was, under some form of punishment or whatever. And then she's like, oh, I've even pulled Ortegas back. And Benga's like, oh, can you trust her? I'm like, all right, stabby. Like, again, that was where my anger about that came back. I'm like, don't you dare,
right.
Mbenga.
Well, I think the reason Ortegas in this episode is because Melissa Navia was playing the holodeck character instead.
Well, no, because she's on the bridge, because that's what I said. Like, Una makes that comment, like, oh, I've even had to pull Ortegas back on duty, and Mbenga's like, oh, can you trust her, right? So, and we kind of see her being amazing again.
Yes. I didn't catch that in the moment, Davey, but you do raise a good point about the ending line. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's, I'm hoping that that's not just, again, like killing off her arc. I'm so torn about the Ortegas thing, because I've wanted an Ortegas focused story and arc since the beginning. I don't know if this is the one I really want for her, but I also, in the previous episode, saw her give an amazing performance and really sell it to me, right? So at the same time, I'm like, all right, if you're going to do it, just do it. Don't half-ass. I don't know. I'm all over the shop with this one.
Yeah.
Our final thing, which we have not talked about, is the new romance reveal.
I did not like that romance. It's like they're turning Spock into a Lothario. Like, that is not Spock.
I screamed at my TV. I was like, I just went, I hate this. No. I hate it.
I didn't scream at my TV, but I had that similar reaction.
I was just like, I can't deal. I can't deal. Like, seriously, what is the writer's obsession with Spock romance? Honestly, like, is it a rebound? Are they gonna let him? Is that what it's gonna be? Is this gonna be, Spock having a rebound thing? Like, honestly,
And of course, during all of this, he's still legally married, Vulcan in the eyes of the Vulcans, to T'Pring, so he's technically a cheater.
Is he
married?
No, engaged.
They were engaged. Yeah, I
engaged.
don't think they ever went through with the wedding. Yeah.
Did they ever put the engagement back after they parted? I forget.
Mm.
Well, of course, all of that, of course, is like 10 years in the future, timeline-wise, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they must have because of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Davey. I do not like the ease at which Spock has moved on from Chapter to La'an.
Yeah.
But it could potentially set up some interesting conflict, maybe, when Chapel gets wind of it.
Yeah, I guess. Like as we keep saying, I'm just like, precious few episodes, lots of characters and stories to explore. You've explored this one. We've explored a Vulcan human romance, and
I really don't. I mean, as beautiful as the scenes are, and it shows off, and Chrissy Chong's dancing talents, I think we can move on from the dancing as well. Now that we've had it in 2 episodes, let's do something else. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. I did. Someone did mention in one of the forums I'm on. They said, well, they actually had some good chemistry on screen together. Like you could buy the chemistry between them. And I'm like, I do kind of agree with that. But I think the dancing scenes really created that chemistry because it's such an intimate thing to do. And it was all filmed very well where you could feel like that tension became quite palpable. But at the same time, I just don't want it.
I
Completely agree.
Mm-hmm. So we'll I guess we will see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm just praying. Like anytime there's a almost any time I've ever seen something where there's like a love triangle, there's eventually a cat fight involved, and I'm praying we do not see one between La'an and Chapel.
Yeah. I would expect these kind of love triangle stories from Starfleet Academy.
Right? Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we've been going for nearly 2 hours. I think we've done the unpacking that we came here to do. We'll be running Hit It weekly from now on, so that we focus on a single episode. As I mentioned, I'd been unwell, so we had to kind of pack a few episodes into one. Any final thoughts? I guess where do you see things going? Let's do a where do you see things going from here? Who wants to go first?
Jim.
Well, I pray that we see that we get that we get some some more family drama. I do not want to see any more dancing or romance for Spock, like you guys said.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the sickening feeling they're going to continue that throughout the entire season.
Possibly.
I mean, obviously, thematically, we're not yet concluded with Batel and the Gorn. We're not quite there. This burgeoning romance or whatever this is with La'an will have to continue as well. At least one more episode, probably more, like you said. Let's see what else. I mean, the Ortegas storyline is going somewhere, which I agree with you, Davey. It's really well written, but I want a happy ending for Ortegas.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
She's such a great dynamic character where it's taken us 3 seasons to have her say something else besides "I fly the ship." Like, let's keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still hope we get some. We're probably not going to, but I would love to get some Captain Angel back. Nira from Ad Astra per Aspera. That was a dangling thread from season 2. Their relationship, their friendship, rather. I don't know.
Thank you for bringing up Captain Angel, because that is, if we do not get at least one more appearance of Captain Angel, it is criminal, in my opinion.
And the
Season
Cybok
4. Season 4.
Yeah. She'll come back as a Muppet. It's season 4.
I'm very excited for that. Very.
Yeah, look, I'm the same. I want I want something really good to come out of this Ortegas arc. Happy ending, definitely, but I don't want it to be brushed aside. If we are going to do much with this Spock and La'an thing, hey, Spock's been through the typical human relationship and breakup and heartbreak. Maybe he's going to go through the typical quick-lived rebound, and that'll hopefully vanish pretty quickly. More Pelia, and just maybe just I'd love to just see more like season 1, Strange New Worlds
started something.
with lots of like individual stories. Go on, Jim. You need to get this out.
We had the first clip they released for this entire season, where it's like undercover, where they go undercover as where the crew goes undercover.
Ah,
as
yeah.
We haven't seen that yet.
No, and I'm not looking forward to it either.
Like, I'm interested to see where that goes. Not necessarily, not necessarily sure whether it'll be a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm interested to see where it goes.
Mm.
Has Strange New Worlds been nominated for costumes for awards?
No, but Section 31's been nominated for an Emmy.
It's DS9 and Voyager all over again with the Warp 10 episode.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, music and costumes in this season, I just hope that continues to build, because even though I don't want to see the Vulcan episode that we're speaking of, where they're all hybridized or whatever, but yeah, I mean the costumes.
The wedding episode should definitely be nominated for Emmys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, gentlemen, this has been. Thank you so much for this. It's actually been nice, like I said, after being unwell, to come and sit and chat with some old friends around what's been going on for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
2 hours well spent, I think. 2 hours well spent. Before we head off, just
Doesn't even feel like it's been 2 hours, Davey.
Yeah. It's lunchtime for me now. I'm starving. Before we head off, just for the audience out there, where can people find you online? I'll start with you, Jim.
You can find me in and out of the Discord chat.
Excellent. There is a link for that in the episode notes. And yourself, Matt?
You can find me most often, I'd say, on Blue Sky. My handle there is mhark957, MHARK957. The Strange New Pod Discord, they're quite a bit, and in the Strange New Pod chat on Thursday nights.
Amazing.
And you can find me there sometimes too.
Love Strange New Pod. And for myself, so I'm all over the BQN network, obviously, generating a lot of content for our Patreon subscribers at the moment, and focus very heavily on my Bargain Bin Gamer program, spelt GAYMER, which is exploring queer creatives and players in the video gaming space. You can also find all the back catalogue of the Trexperts quiz on podcast and on YouTube, which will be returning at the conclusion of Strange New Worlds Season 3. Trexperts is coming back, and MC and I have got some changes planned, some exciting changes. So
okay, cool.
Keep an eye out for that. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. Thank you to Peter, Ryan, Sean for chatting along. Thank you to Amy for joining us at the beginning. We will be back to cover off more new episodes here on Hit It. And remember, if you'd like to be invited to be a panelist, go over to patreon.com/BQN and sign up at the second tier or above. It costs as little as $5 a month to do so. And yeah.
It's well worth it.
Thank you. I believe so. All right, take care, everyone. Talk to you soon.